World's oldest subway systems. Early subway systems arose as a solution to a problem that arose when quickly growing cities in the aftermath of the Industrial Revolution found themselves unable to expand where it was most needed, in their centers. Streets designed to accommodate light horse and carriage traffic were suddenly clogged by horse-drawn public buses and private carts, trolleys and streetcars, delivery carts, pedestrians, and, finally, automobiles. As a result, tunnels were excavated beneath the streets, giving birth to subways. Swipe your ticket in these 10 cities with the world's oldest subway systems. 1. London, England, 1863. Today, around 5 million passengers use the London Underground, better known as the Tube, each day, but the system was initially designed to convey products and cattle as well as people. The 6 initial stations that make up the stretch of the Metropolitan line from Paddington to Farringdon Street opened in January 1863. Additional lines, dug deeper beneath the surface, did not open until after the turn of the 20th century, when the dependability of electric trains and elevators convinced investors enough to bankroll the project. The original 1863 stations and tunnels are still in use today, constituting a tiny but important component of the 250-mile, 272-station system. 2. Istanbul, Turkey, 1875. The world's second oldest subway system was established as part of Istanbul's extensive public transit network. He proposed digging a tunnel beneath the steep hill between Galata on the Bosphorus River and the Beyoğlu area. That tunnel is a 1,820-foot-long tight tube with 2 sets of tracks. Originally, 2 wooden 2-car trains ran in opposite directions through the tunnel, one coming and the other going. The trains were propelled by a stationary steam engine that moved them via a single continuous belt, such that the downhill train's acceleration balanced the work of the uphill train. The engine was converted to electricity in 1971, and the tunnel is still operational today. 3. Chicago, Illinois, 1892. Unlike most of the trains on this list, Chicago's modern public transportation system was originally a rail line running along elevated tracks, which were less expensive and quicker to build without causing a disturbance. The L, short for elevated, made its debut in June 1892, with a 3.6-mile steam-powered trip between the 39th Street and Congress Street stations on today's Green Line. 4. Budapest, Hungary, 1896. The Budapest metro system, which was opened in 1896, is unique for being only 8.8 feet below ground. The subway, Europe's oldest electric system, was built as part of the city's millennial celebration. Line 1, the original 2.3-mile length, is still in service today. 5. Glasgow, Scotland, 1896. The Glasgow subway system is known as the Clockwork Orange, after Anthony Burgess' 1962 novel of the same name, because of its brightly painted rail stock and one, circular loop beneath the city. The only line in the system is only 6.5 miles long, however, it is connected by many above-ground commuter train lines. The 11-station subway debuted in 1896 as a steam-powered, cable-hauled system until being electrified in the 1930s. 6. Boston, Massachusetts, 1897. North America ultimately got its first subway in 1897. Sure, Chicagoans had been using the L for a few years, but the Massachusetts Bay Transit Authority chose to dig a tunnel to divert electric streetcars below, allowing them to pass beneath a congested stretch of Tremont Street. 7. Paris, France, 1900. The Summer Olympics, the first in which women competed and the first held outside of Greece, the Exposition Universelle, where inventions such as the X-ray and the diesel engine were unveiled, and an upgrade to the Eiffel Tower with electric lights, marked the beginning of the 20th century in Paris. The launching of the first section of the city's metro, between Port Maillot and Port de Vincennes, in 1900 was another momentous occasion. 8. Berlin, Germany, 1902. Berlin built a two-pronged mass transit system in the late 1800s, an elevated electric train, the Hochbahn, and a subterranean electric train, the Untergrundbahn, shortened to U-Bahn. From 1961 to 1995, the terminal station of the oldest part of the U-Bahn, Warschauer Brücke on the northern side of the Spree River, was closed since it was beyond the Berlin Wall in East German territory. 9. Athens, Greece, 1904. While Athens' first metro line was built in 1869, the underground tracks were built for traditional steam locomotive service. When the tracks were electrified in 1904, it was considered a rapid transportation system. 10. New York, New York, 1904. The 36 subway lines that crisscross America's most populous city run on 248 miles of track and served more than 5.5 million passengers per day prior to the outbreak. The New York City subway system began in 1904 when many privately owned and built lines competed for dominance in the expanding market. The individual lines soon connected so that passengers could move between them, and in the 1940s, the city stepped forward and unified the system. Please like, share and subscribe.